Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Toronto says no to immediate 24/7 warming centres but will study the idea further. Two suspects arrested in robbery that took place while a 13-year-old was home alone. Police warn public after possible hazardous material found in Hyde Park. New details revealed about the death of married couple in Bowmanville. 18-year-old man wanted for attempted murder after Brampton shooting. Toronto police warn roofing scams on the rise following arrest. Two children killed as bus drives into Quebec daycare, driver charged with homicide.
These were the headlines and let's jump right into the details.
Two children were killed and 6 were seriously injured Wednesday when a city bus crashed into a daycare north of Montreal in what police are saying was a criminal act. The 51-year-old male driver has been arrested and faces charges of homicide and dangerous driving, Erica Landry, spokesperson with the police in Laval, Quebec, told reporters. She said the injuries suffered by the 6 children in hospital are not life-threatening. 4 injured children were taken to Montreal's St. Justin Pediatric Hospital, said Dr. Mark Gerard, head of professional services. The preschool-aged children, 2 boys and 2 girls, were conscious when they arrived at the hospital and are being evaluated, he told reporters, adding that 1 child was in intensive care. Witnesses who arrived at the daycare soon after the crash said several people had to restrain the driver after he got off the bus, adding that the suspect seemed delirious. Police said a 911 call about the crash was received at 8:30 a.m., which is typically around the time parents drop their children off for the day. Mario Soroyas, another neighbor, said he was among the first on the scene and helped stop the suspect as he tried to flee. Dozens of police and emergency vehicles lined the blocked-off road leading to the daycare. Panicked parents tried to run down the road to the side but were redirected to a nearly elementary school building that has been turned into a gathering point. Parents, some in tears, could be seen walking away from the school with their young children in their arms. When asked how she felt, one mother said only that she was relieved. In Ottawa, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he could not imagine what families of victims were going through. There are no words for parents who have lost their children in this way, he said. All Canadians are grieving with them and will do whatever we can to support them in their horrific pain through the coming days and months and years of grief. 2 suspects have been arrested in connection with the robbery that took place while a 13-year-old boy was home alone in North York. The incident, which was partially captured by a doorbell camera, occurred at a residence near York Mills and Don Mills Roads on February 4th. Police say that the suspects, one of them armed with screwdriver, rang the bell several times and then forced their way inside after the victim came to the door. It is alleged that they then began ransacking and residents, eventually fleeing the scene with a laptop. The teen's father was working at the time of the robbery but got a notification from an app connected to his home security system alerting him to the incident. In the video, which the father provided to CP24, a woman walks up to the door and a man joins her a few moments later. The 2 are seen knocking on the door and trying to open it. At one point, the man is seen holding a screwdriver. After their attempts to open the door fail, the 2 walk away. However, they quickly turn around, walk back to the door, and enter the home. It is believed that this was when the 13-year-old boy answered the door. The father said that his son grabbed a knife to defend himself after noticing one of the suspects holding the screwdriver. He said that the teen was holding the knife in his armpit when one of the suspects appeared to laugh it off. The 2 suspects left the house. A short time later, the teen was not physically injured, but the father told CP24 that the incident has left his whole family shaken, prompting them to temporarily leave their home. Police said that the 2 suspects, a man and a woman, were initially arrested on an unrelated matter on Tuesday, but have since been charged in relation to the home invasion. Dominic Mackay Jones, 34, of Toronto, and Sky Robichaud Miller, 23, of Toronto, are each charged with robbery, forcibly entry, and failure to comply with a release order. Police say that both were scheduled to appear in court on Wednesday. Durham Regional Police have confirmed that the man and pregnant woman found dead in Bowmanville home last weekend were married. It is one of the new details revealed by the police on Wednesday in connection with the region's 3rd homicide of the year. In addition, CTV News Toronto has also updated photos of the female victim who had been identified as 26-year-old Rafad Al-Zubaidi. She and her husband, 28-year-old Aram Kamil, who previously went by the name of Aram al-Khamisi, were discovered suffering from obvious signs of trauma by police on the afternoon of February 4th. Police were initially called to couple's address for a wellness check. On Wednesday, police said an autopsy had determined that the couple died of gunshot wounds. No suspect information has been released. Durham Police Sergeant Joanne Bertolas told CTV News Toronto said no weapons were recovered at the scene. Right now, the evidence that the homicide unit has collected and been able to go through has led them to believe that is an isolated incident, Bertolas said. She added that homicide investigators speaking to family members, friends, neighbors, and other witnesses to determine a motive. The timeline is being worked on through investigators speaking with witnesses and obtaining video surveillance from the area. Bertolas said from there, hopefully, they can build a timeline on what led up to this. Toronto police are warning the public about an increase in roofing scams after arresting a man who allegedly defrauded a West End homeowner by claiming to work for a roofing company. Police said a man approached residents in the Bloor Street West and Jane Street area on January 31st and spoke to the owner. He allegedly advised the owner that he saw issues with their roof that needed repair. Police said the man told the homeowner that he worked for North York Roofing Company and provided them with the contract. He then drove the homeowner to a bank to obtain a bank draft for the roof repairs, police said. As a result of an investigation, police learned that the man did not work for the company and that business was not involved in the incident. It is alleged that the man used the name to appear like he worked for a legitimate business, police said in the news release issued Wednesday. A suspect identified as 32-year-old Simon Charnock was arrested last week. He has been charged with utter forged document fraud over $5,000. Investigators have seen an increase in roofing scams since the fall of 2022, with the names of the different businesses being used and believe there might be more victims, police said. Anyone with further information is asked to contact investigators at 416-808-1100 or Crime Stoppers anonymously at 416-222-8477. Peel police are looking for a man wanted in connection with the shooting in Brampton last month that left one person seriously injured. Police were first notified about the incident after a male victim suffering from gunshot wounds walked into hospital in the area of Bovade Drive and Bramley Road on the evening of January 24th. Officers later learned that the shooting occurred on Brisbane Court around 7:42 p.m. An altercation broke out between multiple people, resulting in one male being shot. Police said the victim made his way to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. On Wednesday, police announced that the identify of one of the people involved in the shooting. Mosh Samuels, 18, is wanted for attempted murder, police said. If Mosh Samuels is observed or his whereabouts are known, members of the public are asked to contact 911 immediately as he is considered to be armed and dangerous, police said in the news release on Wednesday. Toronto police are warning the public after possible hazardous material was found in High Park. On Tuesday, officers located dog food and patches of blue snow along the fence line of the dog off-leash area in the center of the park. Police said most of the food and blue snow was found inside what is known as the Forest Regeneration Zone, an area that is fenced off and separate from the off-leash area. They did note that some of the dog food and the few patches of blue snow were also located in the off-leash area. As a precaution, samples have been sent to the Health Canada for testing. Toronto Parks, Forestry and Recreation staff cleaned up the rest of the substance. So far, there have been no reports of sick animals in the area, police said. Toronto City Council has rejected the idea of immediately implementing 24/7 warming centres and declaring homelessness a public health crisis, but has asked city staff to look at the feasibility of keeping the spaces open 24/7 during the winter months and to report back. The decision does not make it clear that anything will be done this winter. The vote followed a passionate debate at Toronto City Hall on a recommendation by Toronto's Board of Health to provide 24/7 indoor warming locations through April 15 in order to provide people walk-in access to a safe place to spend the night. At its January 16 meeting, the Toronto Board of Health also recommended that Council declare a public health crisis in the city based on systematic failure of all three levels of government to provide adequate 2-hour drop in the respite indoor spaces. Thompson said His motion reflects the fact that the city can never add enough space and shelters and warming centers because people experiencing homelessness come to Toronto from elsewhere due to better services for the homeless in the city. He said the federal government also fails to do its part because it allows refugee claimants into the country but leaves it to cities to take care of them without providing financial support. He said he did not see the point in declaring a crisis of the city does not have the means to do anything about it. A number of councillors pushed back, saying action was quickly taken to add police patrols on TTC recently, though there was no dedicated funding for it. That sentiment was echoed by a number of advocates for the homeless who were closely watching the vote. Dr. Nahid Dasani called the decision disgusting. Still, council did approve other motions to action, including one from Diane Sachs, that each councillor identify an available location in their ward for warming center or respite center that can be opened this winter, subject to budget approval and availability of staffing. A number of groups and advocates raised concerns last week about the availability of adequate spaces for those experiencing homelessness amid a snap of frigid overnight temperatures that felt like the -30s with the wind chill. While the city opened up more spaces at shelters and respite centers, at least 2 warming centers were operating at capacity, including one downtown, which had recently been set up by staff at a community center. Toronto currently activates warming centers when an extreme cold weather alert is issued by the medical officer of health based on a forecast of -15 Celsius or colder or wind chill of -20 or colder. Speaking with CP24 Wednesday morning, Mayor John Tory said that while the city has opened warming centers even on days when the temperature didn't meet that threshold, the answer to finding people proper shelter is ultimately housing rather than expanding emergency facilities. Tory had said that he anticipated a close vote on the issue. He voted to support Thompson amendment, which rejected immediate 24/7 warming centers.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.